Good morning. I think most of the students have joined. We can start because there is a lot of work to do today because I have to complete the classification of solvents, and again there are two seminars today we have. So we shall begin with the today's point, that is the classification of solvents, that is a non-aqueous solvents. As we are aware that yesterday we have seen that these solvents play a very vital role in every chemical reaction. All the reactions that chemists observe to take place in a solution state or it is in liquid state. So what is a solution? As we know, a solution is a homogeneous mixture of two or more substances. That is, it is a homogeneous mixture of solute and solvent. As we know, solute is taken in a smaller quantity and solvent is taken in a larger quantity. The dissolved substance into a solvent to produce a solution is called a solute, which is always taken in a smaller quantity. The substance that dissolves the substance, that is solute, to produce the solution is called a solvent. So this is the main difference between a solute and the solvent. The word solvent was derived from the Latin word solvo, that means loosen, to lose the, or to unite, or to solve. The solute is a smaller proportion while solvent is in larger proportion in a solution. As we know, yesterday I have given you the example of sodium chloride, that sodium chloride when it is dissolved in water, here note that sodium chloride is a solute because it is taken in a very small quantity, and water is a solvent because it is in larger quantity. The solute, solvent and also the solution may be present in any physical state, that is solid, liquid or in gaseous state. So this is about the solution, the solvent and the solute. We are going to discuss only the non-aqueous solvents such as ammonia. Liquid ammonia is regarded as a non-aqueous solvent, and liquid sulfur dioxide, that is SO2, may be regarded as a non-aqueous solvent. So those solvents which are not having any water molecules, which are prepared without water or without any aqueous media, are known as the non-aqueous solvents. So we shall proceed further with the today's aspect, that is a classification of non-aqueous solvents. The solvents can be conveniently classified in many ways, but the part that we are discussing today here, that is very simple to understand. So many authors have put forward different types of classes, but the classes that we are going to discuss today here are mostly accepted by the universe. So I would like to share a screen that will enable you for the better understanding of the concept. If you look at this particular part, see this. Here we are going to discuss about the classification of the solvents. Here, if we see that the solvents, non-aqueous solvents, are classified into different parts, that is a protic and aprotic solvents. Second is acidic, basic and amphiprotic solvents, and third is ionizing and non-ionizing. If we look at the first part, that is protic and aprotic solvents, where protic solvents are also known as protonic solvents. These are the solvents which contain replaceable hydrogen atom. This word is very important. That means on dissociation they can furnish H plus ions. These solvents are the donors of proton, that is H plus ions are donated. For example, glacial acetic acid, liquid hydrogen fluoride and hydrochloric acid. Say for example, if glacial acetic acid that dissociate, it can furnish H plus ion and the anionic part, that is CH3 COO minus. Liquid hydrogen fluoride that dissociates to produce H plus F minus, and hydrochloric acid that dissociates to produce H plus and Cl minus. So those solvents which can produce hydrogen ions or the protons are known as the protic solvents. The second part, that is a protic solvent. Aprotic solvents or non-protonic solvents are those solvents which neither donate nor accept protons. Hence, they are neither acids nor bases on the basis of Bronsted-Lowry concept. For example, benzene, sulfur dioxide, dinitrogen tetroxide, that is N2O4. These are the examples of aprotic solvents where they do not give any H plus ions even though they contain hydrogen ions. For example, benzene contains hydrogen atoms, but benzene unable to furnish H plus ions on dissociation, and hence all such solvents are regarded as the aprotic solvents where these solvents do not furnish or do not dissociate into the corresponding ions furnishing H plus ions. That means on dissociation, these aprotic solvents, they do not give any H plus ions on ionization. Second class is acidic, basic and amphiprotic solvents. These are the type of solvents where the acidic solvents are nothing but those solvents which gives a protons or H plus ions. Just now we have seen the examples are here discussed is a glacial acetic acid, liquid hydrofluoric acid, hydrogen fluoride and hydrochloric acid, that is HF. In these cases, glacial acetic acid on ionization, it gives H plus ion, that is a proton. It is a donor of proton, hence it is a acidic type of solvent. Liquid hydrogen fluoride, it can also produce H plus and F minus, and HCl also produce the proton, that is H plus and Cl minus. These are giving H plus ions, hence are known as acidic solvents. The basic solvents are those which accept proton and also donate the electrons. For example, NH3. Here, this NH3 can accept proton and can form the new product as NH4 plus. So NH3 is regarded as the basic solvent. The third type is known as an amphiprotic solvent. These are the solvents which show both acidic and basic properties. For example, water, lower alcohols such as methanol, ethanol. Here, if we see the dissociation of water, it can furnish H plus ions and OH minus ions. So this can behave as an acid as well as base. So on when this OH minus accept H plus ion, it can behave as a base. So H2O plus H2O plus H plus, they can give a positively charged species, that is hydronium ion or hydrozonium ion, or two molecules of methyl alcohol, they can produce CH3OH2 plus OCH3 minus. They also behave as a acid as well as the base. So those solvents which show both acidic and basic properties are all known as the amphiprotic solvent. That means sometimes they behave as an acid and they also behave as a base, that is by giving and by accepting the protons are known as the amphiprotic solvents. So they show both the types of behavior during the course of a reaction. Now, if we move further, the third is ionizing and non-ionizing solvents. The ionizing solvents are those which bring out the ionization of solute. Whatever solute is present, that solute is ionized fairly as well. This property of solvent is due to their polar nature. Yesterday we have discussed that there exist two types of pole. One is a positive pole, another is a negative pole. They have high dielectric constant. That means they are capable of dissolving solvents very easily. That is known as a high dielectric constant. And they also having high dipole moments. Here, certain examples I have quoted, that water, liquid HF and liquid HCN. For example, if we look at this particular reaction, when two molecules of water, they react, they can produce a positively charged species, that is hydronium ion and hydroxonium ion. When two molecules of ammonia, they unite together to form NH4 plus NH2 minus. When liquid hydrogen and two molecules of HF, they unite, they form H2F plus HF2 minus. Or when two molecules of hydrocyanic acid, HCl, they unite, they can form H2N Cn minus and Cn minus. So this is how these are the type of solvents which bring out the ionization of solids very well during the course of a reaction. Now, the non-ionizing solvents, these are the basic characteristic of these solvents are nothing but these are non-polar. That means they do not contain any positive or negative poles. So hence are regarded as a non-polar solvents. Their dipole moment and dielectric constant is also low. That means they are unable to dissolve any solute. That is known as a dielectric constant value, that is very, very low. So hence, the ionic solids do not undergo ionization in such solvents. For example, CCl4, chloroform, carbon tetrachloride, and benzene. These are the best known examples in this context. So, we have seen that there are three different classes that we have studied. These are the three classes that we have studied, the protic and aprotic solvents, where we have studied the donation of proton and the acceptance of proton, that is H plus ion. The acidic, basic and amphiprotic solvents are nothing but they are acidic solvents are those which gives protons or which dissociate these solvents, they furnish H plus ions, and basic solvents are those which can accept the proton, and the amphiprotic solvents are those which behave as an acidic solvent as well as the basic solvent. So that means these solvents, they behave sometimes as a acidic as well as the basic type of solvent. And third type that we have seen is the ionizing and the non-ionizing solvent, where these are the solvents. The main difference between ionizing and non-ionizing solvent is that ionizing solvents have high value of dielectric constant and high value of dipole moment, while the case is not true for non-ionizing type of solvents, where these solvents have very low value of dielectric constant and very low value of dipole moment, for example carbon tetrachloride. So these are the some examples where the solvents show the ionizing as well as the non-ionizing type of characteristics. So this is how we have seen that the types of solvents. Just a minute, I have received one message that are you unable to hear or not? If anybody can answer me. I think you are aware of, you can also increase the volume of your mobile phones, that will enable you for the better listening property. Now, the three classes that we have studied is a protic type of solvents, second acidic, basic and the amphiprotic solvents, and third type is ionizing and non-ionizing type of solvent. So these are the three classes under the classification. So you should bear in mind that you have to remember that these are the three sub classes of non-aqueous type of solvents, where we have given a special reference to only liquid NH3 and liquid SO2. Now we are going to proceed. What are the chemical reactions? Those are possible in liquid ammonia. A very simple type of reactions that I am going to give you for the better understanding of this concept. Now, the classification that is based on these three types, that is a protic, aprotic, acidic, basic, and am, amphoteric, and third ionizing and non-ionizing solvents, where we have to study two important non-aqueous solvents, where first important solvent that we are going to study is a liquid ammonia. This is regarded as one of the most extensively studied non-aqueous type of solvent. So liquid ammonia is known as a most studied the non-aqueous solvent. Now, what are the chemical reactions? Those are taking place if we take, for instance, the liquid ammonia as a non-aqueous solvent. As we know that it is obviously ammonia has been studied the most extensively than any other non-aqueous type of solvent. Now, its physical properties are closely resemble with water, except that the dielectric constant, it is a protonic, that means it is capable of donating protons, that is H plus ions, associated with atto-ionizing, that means it gets self-ionized, and it is a polar, that means there exist two different types of poles in ammonia. So it is also a water-like solvent. It is a poor solvent for ionic compounds. For example, if we take for instance the acid-base type of reactions, those are taking place in liquid ammonia. This reaction is also known as a neutralization reaction. A very simple reaction that I am giving here. As we know, according to Bronsted-Lowry concept, acid is that substance which gives H plus ion, and base is that substance which accepts the proton, that is H plus ion. For example, we are studying ammonia, that is liquid ammonia, as a non-aqueous solvent. So when two molecules of liquid ammonia, they react each other, you have to see these reactions very carefully. Then this one of the ammonia that accepts the proton, that first of all dissociates and gives its proton so as to form NH4 plus. So there is one proton that is given by this NH3, and hence it becomes NH2. So this NH2 minus is known as the amide. So ammonia can form a amide. This is the first reaction. So these are the liquid ammonia molecules. When they unite, they furnish the protons, and the proton that is given or furnished by one ammonia molecule, that is accepted, and it can form NH4 plus, that is a positively charged species, and one of the hydrogen that is given by this ammonia so as to form NH4 plus, and here it can form NH2 minus. Now this NH2 minus, that is amide, that is already formed, that again tries to dissolve in this liquid ammonia so as to form this second reaction. This is second reaction. It again gives its one of the electron, this NH2, that is amide gives its electron to NH3 so as to form NH4 plus NH minus. This is known as imide. So here this ammonia, liquid ammonia can form this imide in the second reaction. Now after the formation of this imide NH minus, again it tries to dissolve or tries to react with liquid ammonia, and hence the newly formed product is known as NH4 plus. Plus here this hydrogen is given to this, and hence it can form NH4 plus N3 minus, and this is known as the nitride. N3 minus is known as a nitride. So here ammonia, liquid ammonia can form a nitride. So we have seen three reactions. In the first reaction, two molecules of liquid ammonia, they unite to form NH4 plus, that is one of the hydrogen that is replaced or dissociated, and it can form NH2 minus, that is amide is formed. The already formed amide again tries to react with liquid ammonia, and this one of the hydrogen that is again dissociated, and it can form again NH4 plus, and the remaining part is an anionic part, that is NH minus, known as the amide. And the already formed amide NH minus, that again reacts with liquid ammonia so as to form this NH4 plus. How this NH4 plus is formed? One of the hydrogen that is given by this imide to NH4 plus, that is ammonium ion. So the remaining part is N3 minus, is known as a nitride. So in three successive reactions, amide, the imide and nitride has been produced during the course of reaction in liquid ammonia. Now here NH4 plus is regarded as an acid, and amide, that is NH2 minus, then imide NH2. I am running out of time. Here it is showing only 10 minutes are left. The NH2 minus amide, NH minus imide, and N3 minus, that is nitride. These are the products which are formed. These are regarded as a bases. Now here, if we see very closely the first step of this reaction, this is the second step of the reaction which is followed on account of the reaction of amide with ammonia, and the third step of this reaction where the imide reacts with liquid ammonia. So NH4 plus in the first step, NH4 plus in the second step, and NH4 plus in the third step. All these NH4 plus ions are known as the ammono. These are known as amino acids. You should bear in mind that the formation of NH4 plus ions during the course of reaction with amide, imide and nitride, which are formed on account of the reaction with the bases, are known as amino acids. And the NH2 minus, then NH minus and N3 minus, which are known as the amide, then imide and nitride. These are commonly referred as the amino bases. So the reactions which are taking place in liquid ammonia, those are three reactions which are the characteristic reactions. The first reaction with two molecules of ammonia that can form NH4 plus, and the remaining anionic part I have written here is amide. The second reaction with amide, already formed amide and liquid ammonia that can form NH4 plus. How this NH4 plus is formed? One of the hydrogen that is dissociated, and it combines with NH3 so as to form NH4 plus, that is ammonium ion, plus the remaining part is NH minus, one of the hydrogen is replaced, hence it is known as a imide. So NH minus is nothing but the imide, and this imide now reacts with liquid ammonia, that is the third step of a reaction, then one of the hydrogen that is replaced or that is dissociated so as to form NH4 plus, and the remaining part is N3 minus is known as a nitride. So just now we have seen the product that is formed on account of the three consecutive reactions on account of NH3, NH2 minus and NH minus. This the product thus obtained, that is NH4 plus, is known as the amino acids, which is nothing but a positively charged species which is known as the ammonium ion. NH4 plus is known as a ammonium ion, that is a amino acid. So these are known as the amino acids, and the remaining products which are formed on account of the reaction, that is NH2 minus, that is amide, NH minus imide, and N3 minus, that is a nitride. All these are known as amino bases. So you should be very well familiar with the amino acids which are formed on account of the reaction of the amide, imide and nitride with liquid ammonia. All such amide, imide and nitride, they combine with liquid ammonia so as to form amino acids. And the another anionic product which is formed during the course of a reaction, that is a negatively charged species, that is amide is a negatively charged species, imide is also negatively charged species, and nitride is also a negatively charged species, are known as amino bases. So whenever the question on liquid ammonia has been asked, you have to give these three characteristic reaction with first step with two molecules of ammonia, second step one of the hydrogen here that is given to this NH3 and it can form NH4 plus. Second step of the reaction, which is also very simple, the already formed amide that reacts with liquid ammonia, that is one of the hydrogen that is dissociated so as to form NH minus, and that is known as imide, and it can form again ammono base, that is NH4 plus. And third step of reaction, the already formed imide reacts with liquid ammonia, that means one of the hydrogen, this hydrogen is dissociated so as to give this NH3 so as to form NH4 plus, that is ammono base, and the remaining part is N3 minus. So here N3 minus indicates that all the three hydrogen atoms are replaced during the course of a reaction, and hence it can form the nitride. So NH4 plus, that is a positively charged species, is known as a amino acid, that is ammonium ion, and the anionic part that is thus formed, that is amide NH2 minus, imide that is NH minus, and nitride that is N3 minus, are known as amino acids. So this is about the liquid ammonia, which shows the acid base reaction, because here during the course of a reaction both acids and bases have been produced during the course of a reaction, hence it is known as the neutralization reaction so as to form the amino acid and the amino base. So only 2 minutes are left, so again you have to join by clicking the same link, and we are going to start with the seminars in the second lecture. So I am going to conclude here. You have to join after 2 minutes.